If you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
There's a lot of things in your soil that is required for your plants to grow properly. And there's one that's called mycorrhizae. Now, Holly, what is mycorrhizae? And first of all, Plant Success, a sponsor here of the program, this is what their life and their business is all about, is providing mycorrhizae to add to your soil. But first, we're going to talk about what mycorrhizae is.
Sure. Mycorrhizae is actually a fungus, but it's very tiny.
And it's a good fungus.
Yeah, it's a good fungus. It's microscopic. The threads, they create threads, which are called the hyphae. And it's miles and miles of these microscopic threads on the roots of the plants, and sometimes grow in the roots of the plants. So it's like
I picture it as like a DNA strand.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that under microscope, that it just winds thousands of miles, so tiny it's hard to fathom this type of structure on a very minute microscopic level.
Right, definitely. And the net-like web that they create is called mycelium. So it's just super,
and mycelium you can see.
Right.
It's whenever you have a pile of leaves and you lift them up and there's this white stringy stuff or white film on it. That's the mycorrhizae or the mycelium. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So they connect to plants in two ways. One is called Ecto Mycorrhizae, which it surrounds the outside of the roots.
So echo, exterior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then Endo Mycorrhizae.
I'm guessing interior.
Right.
Okay.
Grows inside of the plants, between the cell wall and the cell membranes of the roots.
So we're getting down to a very scientific type of...
And very, very, very microscopic.
Okay.
So basically they wedge themselves, like, imagine between a bicycle tire and the inner tube. So not in the inner tube, but between the inner tube and the tire.
That thin layer, and it's pinched between the two.
The cell walls and the cell membranes. Yep. Now, the plants, they help the plants, and the plants feed them.
And if we didn't have the mycorrhizae in your soil, the plants wouldn't live. There would be no life for the plant.
Right. It's a very important part of your plant life.
Now, all soil contains some level of mycorrhizae. Whether it's a tremendous amount or very little, that's the reason Plant Success has the ability to provide mycorrhizae in many forms in order to increase the level of mycorrhizae in your soil to help your plants grow better, to help your plants to uptake the nutrients that is in your soil much more efficiently for the plants to grow healthier.
Right. So plants feed their own mycorrhizae. So basically what they do is the plants take excess sugar produced by photosynthesis and send it to the roots. And then they are able to absorb it to sustain themselves. So
they're creating basically it's not their own food, but they're creating their own energy in order to...
Because they need that sugar and that photosynthesis process to live, but since
and I want to clear this up. This is different sugar than the table sugar that you have in your cabinet.
Right.
This is a totally different structure of sugar. Okay.
Yeah.
So we just can't be pouring sugar around our plants and helping this all process occur in our garden.
No.
Okay. All right.
So mycorrhizae do need the photosynthesis process to survive, but they can't do that because they live below the soil. So that's why they need the plants to produce that for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when we see a problem in our garden, Mike Novak, who was in studio with Peggy Malecki here a couple weeks ago, he stated the same thing that we've said for a long time. If your plants are having a problem, 90% of the time that problem is most likely derived from something going on underneath the soil. Whether it's a disease, whether it's a lack of nutrients, or in this case, a lack of mycorrhizae or lack of water. Only 10% of the problems that your plants are going to face is something that is above the soil line. Majority of this stuff's all under the soil. And with that, we want to have an understanding of what's occurring in our garden, not only below soil grade, but above soil grade. So we have a complete understanding of how the plant actually grows and produces the fruit or vegetables in which we enjoy eating.
Right. Definitely. So, yeah, and they help protect their plants against disease. So they kind of filter things out. They make a buffer for things in the soil.
Just like our bodies.
Right.
The liver filters out a lot of the toxins that we...
It's not exactly the liver
it's the concept of the
plant, but it definitely helps filter stuff out because they're so microscopic and there's so much
compacted in that small amount of
spot. They kind of can help filter things out.
Yeah, okay. So under normal conditions, like how much... What are we looking for here? I mean, we can't see this unless it's in that web like we talked about under the leaves.
Right. You're not going to be able to see it, but I think if you feel that your plants are not doing well, it's not going to hurt to add a boost of that mycorrhizae from plant success. Another cool thing about mycorrhizae is that you're not normally going to be able to see them because they are so small. Or if you flip over the leaves, you might see the mycelium. But once in a while, what happens is that, or not more than once in every once in a while, but mushrooms are the spores of mycorrhizae.
So if you see mushrooms, and we talk about this with our straw bale garden preparation, when we condition the bale, we see the mushrooms coming, and that's a good thing in the straw bale. It shows that the ecosystem is and the breakdown process is occurring correctly. In the soil, if we see mushrooms growing in our garden, it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. It means
you don't want to eat these things.
No, it just means that
you've got a really good balanced ecosystem.
Yeah, you have a good ecosystem. I know, like, it could also happen if it's a very wet area too.
Or if you have mulch of a certain type of mulch, mushrooms can occur in that as well. But those are that when you see the mushrooms, we're looking. People freak out about that and go, "Oh, I got mushrooms. Something's wrong. And it's not. That's very good.
No, it's
because
good.
You look on what is in the forest and the forest floor. The forest floor is some of the healthiest ecosystem in the world.
It's not been touched by.
It's left untouched, and you see all types of fungi and stuff growing, and it's a very healthy place. So if we can mimic that somewhat in our gardens, then we're doing a very good job with that.
Yeah, definitely. So mycorrhizae is beneficial. It lives in a symbiotic relationship with the plants, which means that it helps the plants. The plant help it. It's like a circle of plant happiness, and it's a
give and take. All of this under the ground, one gives, one takes, and it balances everything out. And without one, the other can't occur, and the plants don't grow. So if you have an area in your garden where plants are growing or weeds are growing, then the area has some level of mycorrhizae, because if there's no mycorrhizae in the soil, you're going to have dead soil. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. It's a positive sign. It's good, especially like you mentioned, the mushrooms. Those are good too.
And again, it's really neat that the mycorrhizae can help protect the plant against diseases. And soil, number one, soil has what is called a buffering capacity to begin with. And this is just another layer. And buffering capacity means that if you have acid rain, if you have some type of toxicity that you're spraying or pours on the soil, that it doesn't change the structure of the soil immediately. Now, if you have lots of that type of material poured on it, then it will alter there's only so much capacity, buffering capacity. It's a protective layer that the soil has to keep the soil healthy to the state in which it needs to be in order to grow the plants that it needs to grow. So mycorrhizae, it's important in your soil. You probably have it, and it doesn't hurt to add more mycorrhizae, fungi, from in your garden, whether you get it from Plant Success Organics or not. It's something that can help grow the garden even stronger.
You're a fungi.
I'm a fungi?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you for checking out the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show. For more, go to the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com for full length in-studio video and podcast replay of Season 1. Season 2 underway and added weekly. Tweet us at TWVG Show or hashtag TWVG to be part of the program.